joined by Phil in the kitchen, making a British classic. Isn't that right, Phil?
It is indeed. Here it is. Here it is. Turn the whole, one of my faves. Very simple. Poor man's food, we used to call it, but it's delicious. And when I was a kid, we used to have it on a Wednesday. And my father always had mustard with it, which we'll come on to in a second.
Good lad.
Mashed potatoes. And we didn't do posh onion gravy. We had gravy.
Just gravy.
Phil?
Yes, sir.
Is 4 sausages in the toad in the hole, is that standard?
No, well, it depends how big they are. I think you probably get away with 3. Depending on the size they are. 2 or 3.
This is lovely.
Oh, sweetheart.
This is so comforting.
Good. So nice.
So happy.
Well, it's very simple food, and I always find the simpler the better sometimes. Yeah. And I judge a lot of competitions around the world, and you know, and in England and in the UK, and what wins every time is simple food.
Yeah.
Properly, and this is a classic example of that. Right, sausages. Here we go. So,
nice sausages, but quite hot.
No, but I like it when it's hot.
Yeah, I did piping hot.
I don't want it cold.
Right, let's talk about sausages. Now, obviously, like anything, the cheaper they are, the less meat's in them. So you need to look for sausage that says 85, 95% meat in the sausage. However, be very careful, because meat can also mean fat. Meat content can include fat content, so you need to be very careful. But, to me, a sausage should have fat. That's the whole point of it. So between 15 and 20% is perfect. It gives that lovely, lovely mouthfeel.
We talked about this in the break. For me, like the cardinal sin if I order sausages in a pub or a restaurant, is if they're not brown enough on the outside.
Yeah.
And I imagine toad in the hole, you've got to have them brown, right?
Yes, because even though it's going in the oven, they still won't brown as much as they will in the pan. Now, so let me just show you here. So here we go. Here's my sausages, which are browning up nicely.
These are lovely sausages, by the way.
They're
Do you
not
know
bad.
where they're from?
I can't tell you that.
Sorry.
Is it from your farm?
No, not for me. Not for me. But, again, see, these are quite small, so you could perhaps get away with
Are they
3.
supermarkets? Is that a supermarket?
Yeah, supermarkets.
That's very good.
Yeah. Now, Yorkshire pudding, this is my mum's... Everyone has their own recipe, and I'm probably going to get berated for this, but this is my mum's recipe.
Yeah.
That was my grandmother's recipe.
OK.
Very simple. So the secret is about a toad in the hole. It needs to go crispy. Now, the fatal mistake people make is putting too much batter in. Similarly with Yorkshire puddings. I only fill my Yorkshire pudding tins up half to 3/4. Same here. The less batter you put in, the crispier it will become and it will cook. Otherwise, you get a cake in the middle, which is soggy. You don't want that. You want a bit of each, because it soaks up the fat.
Got ya. No soggy bottom.
No, there's no soggy bottom. So most chefs use a pint of milk. I don't use half a pint of milk, 300 mils, 2 medium eggs, and I think it's 225 grams of flour. So that's 112 grams of flour into there. Normal plain flour.
What I love most about you, Phil, is that you're a generational cook. So I know whenever you come in and you cook something for us, I know it's always seems to be passed down from generation to generation.
Yeah,
I love that.
Well, that's where it came from. That's why I learnt to cook, you know, from my mum. So with Yorkshire pudding, people say, oh, put a little bit in, put the eggs in. Very simple. 2 eggs in the middle of the flour, half the milk, OK? Half the milk goes in. Then you whisk from the centre, break the yolks, and you'll see it gradually takes in that flour from the outside. Put all the milk in, then
nice, isn't it?
it'll end up going lumpy.
Can't get over sausage.
So you just want to keep incorporating that. And
Sausage is the nicest sausage I've ever
It's really good, Phil.
It's how it's cooked.
Oh, it's delicious.
And then, as you'll see, no lumps, because we haven't put all the milk in. Milk goes in after the rest of the milk, and you've got your batter. Now, there's a bit of an old wives' tale, leave it to rest, load of rubbish, makes no difference. I've done rested for half an hour, 45 minutes, straight away, makes no difference.
Really?
No, in my view. Salt and pepper at this point. Excuse me, leaning over you.
Sorry.
Bit of salt into there. Again, you don't have to, because you've got the sausages, but it's up to you. Pepper, I do love pepper. And that's what I do.
Is that white pepper?
Is that white pepper?
Normal ground white pepper.
Right.
You'll never see me use cracked pepper or whole salt unless you can see it.
Right.
Focaccia bread, salads, tomatoes.
Yeah.
It's a waste of time.
OK.
Now...
We love our white pepper, don't we, Al?
We do indeed. Now, these sausages, you can see, have been cooking nicely, and I just pour the batter into that hot fat, like so. Now, here's another thing you need to do. You need to leave that for about a minute, possibly, so it starts bubbling in the centre.
You normally do it in the frying pan. Is that how we always do toad in the hole?
Yeah, and it goes in the oven. Or you can do it in a baking dish.
Yeah.
But the great thing about this is it's a lot more controllable. So you can get the heat into it, lift it in, lift it out. It needs to be an oven-proof pan. There needs to be bubbling on the edge. We'll leave that there for a second. The oven needs to be set at 200 degrees.
Yeah.
As soon as that goes in the oven at 200, you drop the temperature to 180. So initial lift is there, and then it drops the temperature, and it will carry on lifting, but it won't go too black or too brown. Now, the other thing to say also is, when you think it's ready, take about 35 minutes, turn the oven down a fraction, and give it another 10 minutes, and it won't collapse. And that also goes for Yorkshire puddings. People take them out, drops.
Ah, yes.
That 10 minutes gives extra. So I've done this one here. So this is just before we came on air. So you'll see...
those little tips, isn't it?
That's very, very hot.
Look at that guy.
Don't touch that. It's really, really hot. Actually, what I'm going to do, put this one in the oven. We'll cook that first.
So you just bake it in the pan?
You like through the cameras. There you go. So there you go. So the point is that set is crunchy in the middle, not too puddingy, but I want to just show you this. So when you lift it up, you get that lovely... Look at that.
Oh, look at that.
Lovely.
That needs to be that. Now, that's because you've started on the oven. Sorry, on the top and put it in the oven. You can help yourself out, it's hot. Now, with this kale, very simple. A lot of people don't touch kale because they're worried about it being too chewy, or they use cabbage. I like kale certain times of the year. Now, what I've done, in this pan here, I've put the kale. This is raw. Normally comes in bags now already trimmed. Sometimes you get a bit of a stalk like that one there.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then just take that out, put that in beforehand, give it a couple of minutes, then add the rest, and it cooks it.
Oh, give it a little bit more time.
So I put that into that pan. I put 100 mils of water, 2 tablespoons of normal olive oil, not extra virgin, lid on, cook it for 5 to 6 minutes till it softens, lift off the lid, OK, drive off the moisture, by which time that will be perfectly cooked.
Yeah, because kale is quite thick, isn't it?
Yes, and it can be chewy.
Yeah.
Now, all I do is I've got a little bit of this is, mustard powder.
Ooh.
So a little bit of mustard powder out. And the reason why I'm doing this is...
Such a good cupboard staple, mustard powder.
Now, there's 2 types of mustard here. The same, but 2 processes. This is raw mustard, what I call raw. If you use this at the start, it's very, very acrid and very strong. If you leave it for 24 hours, it ends up like this flavour profile. And they're completely different.
What, it's just normal English mustard?
Yeah, now, I want you to taste that, Dermot. Just be very careful, and you'll see how strong that is. That'll blow your socks
Ooh la la.
off. Right, now, taste that one. That's been probably processed...
I can't taste anything after that.
But that's probably been processed 2 or 3 months ago. It's a softer overnight.
So that I'm buying in the store,
yes,
it's just that
exactly made up. So it loses pungency. OK, so what I do... Where's my mustard? I'll have that back, excuse me. So then, all I do, no salt, no pepper.
Clever.
Strong mustard goes onto the kale, and all you want to just put that through. And then I add, off the heat, extra virgin olive oil, a couple of tablespoons, so you get that lovely pungency, fresh, almost like fruity flavour. No salt, no pepper. We actually on that mustard...
How much do you put in, like a teaspoon?
Yeah, that's all you need.
Just a little teaspoon?
That's all you need, and it just coats that.
It's also just nice to do greens in a different way, isn't it? Otherwise, you just end up steaming them.
But you're absolutely right also, Dermot, we had a conversation earlier about you saying to me that it can be a bit chewy. It can. But all you need to do, as I said to you earlier, is take out the big stalks, cook them for a couple of minutes, then add the greenery. Same process.
And it softens up.
Got a bit of mash there.
Really
What's
nice.
all gone? Mash,
I've absolutely...
gravy and baked beans.
I've
So
absolutely
good.
caned mine.
But you know when you get mustard up your nose?
So good.
That's where I am right now.
Really? Is it good?
But, Dermot...
Good little blast.
But they're 2 different things.
Yeah.
Completely different things.
Oh, I feel like I could go to bed now. That was lovely, Phil Vickery. Now, if you want to get the recipe for any of the dishes made on the show, you can find them on the free This Morning app.